Hello guys, this is Deep Narayan Singh, and in this lecture I am going to discuss with all of you the question category that is asked from the text file handling, and it is a 3 marks question. In this part 1 we will go through a little bit of concept how text file are handled in the Python, and then we go on to the questions. So let us see our first thing in the concept part, that is what are the modes we work on the files, that is read mode, write mode and append mode. So text files we can use mainly read, write or append mode. There is one mode that is called execute mode, so that we are not making any executable file or working on that. So what are the specialty? When we open a file in the read mode, we can perform read operation on it, and if file does not exist, then will not be created in read mode. File pointer will always be placed in the beginning of the file in read mode, and if you add plus in this mode, then reading and writing both can be done. Like that, you have a write mode. In that write mode, if file does not exist, Python is going to create the file with the same name which you have supplied inside the open function, and file pointer is placed at the beginning. If you add w plus, then writing and reading both can be done. Then we have a append mode. In append mode, when we want to add multiple lines or multiple data into the same file, we utilize this append mode. Here file pointer will be placed at the end of the file, and a plus will allow both appending and reading. After that, we have some functions which are utilized to operate on text file handling. This is a open function which is used to open the file, or it provide a file handle to us, reference to the file through which we modify the content of the file. We can perform read operation and write operation. So there is three functions for reading: read line or read lines, write or write lines. Okay, for writing, so read will read whole content in the return the output in the form of string if we have not supplied size into it. If you supply size in the form of integer, so equal to the number of bytes you supplied in size, that is the content which is being written from the file. Next is read line. Read line also returns what? String, and but it returns line by line. So if you have not supplied any size, it will return the values up to where it encounters the new line character. So what does it mean if you encounter a new line character? A new line is starting from there. Then you have a read lines. So read lines method will return list of lines, and it also takes one argument, that is size. So if you have supplied size into it, that is going to read up to the size only. Then you have two more functions for writing, that is write or write lines. If you want to write the string directly into the file, so you will utilize the write method, and if you want to write the list of strings, then you need to use the write lines method. It does not return anything. Okay, the content will be written in the file using write or write lines. Remember, we are talking about text files, so extension will be .txt. This is the extension of our file. Without any delay, let us move to our first question. What does it say? Write a function in Python to count the number of lines in the text file poem.txt which starts with an uppercase character. So we need to write a function which just display the count of lines which are going to be start from uppercase letter. So there are two ways. One way is directly we can iterate over file handle. So let us write first function name. So what function will be declared in starting? Function header will start from def. Then we have what? Function name. Function name, what? It is user defined. You can have any name. Okay, but that should make sense. Display, because we are displaying some thing in it, display. And then we have the colon. What this function name governed by? The rules to declare the identifier. There are 4 rules to declare the identifier. It should not have any space in it, it should not be a keyword, and it should not start with digit, and it should not contain any special symbol other than underscore. Let us move ahead to the next line. Here we are going to create the file handle, which will create the reference between your file into the disk and in the program, main program, where you have your program running. So this function will does what? It created a bridge or funnel through which you can access the content from the file and put some content into the file. So all read write operation can be performed through this bridge. Okay, that is called file handle or file pointer. Okay, or file reference. So file handle, file pointer, file reference, all these words are used for the same thing. Okay, that is the reference to the file, and that is generated through a open function. So open function will use or take two arguments, the name of the file and the mode in which you want to open the file. So as we can see from the question, we are not doing any write operation, just we want to read only, because after reading we can compare that there what are the lines which are starting from uppercase letters. So how do we compare? For that purpose, first we need to go line by line, and somewhere we need to hold the value. What value? If suppose there are more than one line, so we need to maintain a counter or some count, a variable in which we hold number of lines which are starting with capital or uppercase letters. So we will declare a variable called count, okay, which is initialized to 0 in starting. Let us iterate over this file handle itself. Okay, we can iterate over file handle using for loop, and we can get line by line output from there. So let us have for line in f. This is our loop variable, and this will pick line by line values from the poem.txt file. Okay, so once you got first line from the poem.txt, so suppose if our poem.txt content is something like this, poem.txt. Okay, so this is our poem.txt, I love Python. Okay, or we can say uh, this is good. Okay, so some content we might have xyz. These are the three lines in my poem.txt file. Now what we can do, we can just see line is a loop variable, and then line, that loop variable will hold one line at a time. So if for first iteration of our loop we will have I love pi. Okay, so this line is in the form of string. Now this string, what is the first index? This is the first index here. Okay, now this is the index 0. Now we can compare or check if it is in uppercase. How to check if it is in uppercase? There is a function called is upper. Okay, is upper in the string, which returns true if string object in uppercase, string object in uppercase. So we have applied the same function here. Line of 0 means the starting character of this line string, which is the first line of poem.txt uh, for the first iteration of the loop, is in uppercase. Then we increase the value of our counter. So let us see count equal to count plus 1 or count plus equal to 1. If it is not the case, don't do anything and move to the next line, means for the next iteration of our loop. Okay, like that you do up until what point? Till that you get end of file. Okay, so all the lines are exhausted, you will come out of the loop, and what at the end count will have? All such lines which are starting with uppercase letter. Okay, so I hope you understood this particular example, very simple one. Okay, let us move ahead to the next one. Write a method count lines in Python to read the lines from the text file.txt and display the lines which are not starting with vowel. Now here we have uh, a different issue, that we are not going to check for uppercase or lowercase. We need to check if it is not starting with vowel. So how many vowels we have? We have vowels like a, e, I, o, u. These are the vowels. Okay, so starting again the same way, we can have here what? First letter checked. If it is a vowel, then we can say this we need to increase our counter, because we need to maintain total number of lines that are starting from vowel, and the count lines function should display the output as the number of lines not starting with vowel is like 1. Okay, because here one line is not starting with vowel, remaining all are starting with vowel. So let us write the count lines function, and we can also use the read lines function for that purpose. This is our content of the file for the example purpose. Let us have first, so what we will see, def count lines. This is the way we declare a function. Next, are we performing any write operation here? No, only read are required, because after reading we can compare the content. We don't want to change in the content of the file. So just we use the open function where which takes two argument, file name and read mode, and this is our file handle which we have created. Once you have created file handle, then we can have utilize the function called read lines. So what read lines will give? Read lines will give list of lines. Okay, so we will get a list where we have, this is suppose line 1. Okay, second element may be line 2. Okay, third element may be line 3. These all are in the form of uh, strings only. So this is our line 1, line 2. So these content will be placed here. Line 3, okay, line 4. So these are the content which are being placed here, L4. Okay, so this is the output we will get, and that will be stored inside the variable called lines, which we have declared here. Once we get this one, so we can iterate over the element of the list using simple for loop. And what is the element? Element is itself a single line of the file where starting index is 0. So we will get this first letter of the each line, first letter of each line. So what is the index of this one? 0. Again for next line, there also you have index is 0. So we need to compare if it is in it is a vowel or not. If it is a vowel, we need to increment our counter. Okay, if it is not a vowel, we need to increase our counter, otherwise not. So let us write the count to maintain the count of such lines which are not starting with vowel. Next line we will use a for loop to iterate over these lines. So we see for w in lines, okay, we are going to have this w variable here. And what is w of 0? Because w will have for first iteration line 1, for second iteration line 2, for third iteration line 3, for fourth iteration line 4. So w of 0 we need to compare with these vowels a, e, i, o, u, but that may be in small or capital case. So what we can do, we need to use a string, a function that is called lower, to first convert the case of this particular letter into lowercase, then we can compare. So if it is in uppercase in the file, does not matter, that does not create any effects. Let us write the if condition. So what it is saying? It is saying if w of 0, whatever it is, then convert it in lowercase and check it. If it is not in a, e, i, o, u, if it is asked in the question that you need to display those lines which are starting with vowels, then we will use the operator called in. But it is asking which are not starting with vowels. So what we will do, we will utilize this operator called not in. And then if it is a case, if this condition satisfies, then we are going to increment the counter by 1. Okay, so in each time whenever this condition satisfies, when it conditions, this particular condition satisfies, whenever your line is not starting with a vowel, at last of this loop, what you will get? You will get the number of lines which are not starting with vowel in this count variable. Now your job is to display this count variable with this formatted string in the output. So let us have the number of lines not starting with vowel, and then we displayed this variable called count. I hope you understood this question. If you face any difficulty in understanding or any problem, leave a comment in the comment section. I will give the explanation. Don't worry about it. Okay, then most important thing, we need to close the file point handle or file pointer we have opened. Okay, so this is the last statement where we are closing this file handle, file pointer or file reference which we have created for our job. Next, this is the call to the function in main part. So this is what function call. You call this function and then it is going to work. It is not necessary to write the function call in the main code. You can just write a function or method because it is asking for writing only the method. Next is that write a method function so to do in Python to read the content of the file abc.txt, display those lines which have occurred the word to or do. So in line, if the word is to or do, anything is there, then you need to do what? Then you need to display, I hope, display the line. So what you, how can you display? Just use the print statement. For example, if content of the file is this one, then whatever lines is having 2 in it, okay, so that will be displayed, or to do in it, then that will be displayed. So here you have the to, here you have the to do, both the cases either to will come or do will come. So remember that the condition is or, either one of it can come in the line, then line must be displayed. So same way we should write the function name def so to do and open parenthesis colon, and then we are going to open a file in read mode abc.txt with the help of open function to create a file handle or file reference. So this is the file handle. Open function takes 2 argument, mode and the file name. Once you have created the file, now what I need to do, I need to just read the lines, but I want each line, okay, separately. So list of lines I will get. Read line function will give what? List of lines. Now I can iterate over these list of lines. Okay, so we use the for loop for I in lines, means I will have one sentence at a time. Now our job is to check either to or do present in that particular line or not. So how can we check? For that purpose we have in operator, that is called membership operator. So is that substring is a part of this string? Is that substring is a part of this string? So or we have in for adding these two conditions. So either of the condition is true. If 2 is present in the line, then also the whole condition will become true, or do present in the line, then also whole condition will become true, because we know that for or a gate or logical operator, if there are two conditions like x and y, and x or y, if you do it, then how you have the table? True true, false false, then you have true false and true false. So for all these three cases, what you have the output? True. So any one of the input to the or gate is true, or logical operator is true, any of the condition in or logical operator is true, then output is true. Otherwise if both are false, then, but if condition satisfy, what you need to do? You need to just display the lines. Where you have the line? You have the line in this loop variable. So just print I. Okay, so how many times you need to do this? Because you have the list of lines already available in this variable called lines, it automatically iterate over each element. At the end of this loop, what will happen? All the lines which have to do in them, that are going to be displayed in the output. Okay, so just it is a function call. Here one statement is left, that statement should be f dot close, because we have opened a file handle, then we need to close it. So that's it. This is the answer, okay, for this particular question. Okay, let us move to the next question. Write a method count lines in Python to read the lines from text file and count and display the count of occurrence of alphabet E and T individually, including small e or capital small t too. So this is the file content, and output should look like this. The number of E, capital E or small e is 6, the number of capital T or small t is 9. So this is our job. Again, here we are not modifying the content of the file. What we are doing, we are just reading and trying to see through, or trying to just digest the content, or working on the content of the file. So what is the function name? Count lines. Just write it down, def count line. Next, what you need to do, open that file. So open function is there, file handle, open function takes two argument, file name and read. This is we have seen in previous questions also. Now our job is to check out this E or T is present in the file content or not. So how we can do that? We have a function called read, which will read whole content in the form of string, and we know that using for loop we can traverse the string character by character. Okay, so whenever we match those character, just we will be incrementing the counter. For counting E we will maintain a counter, for counting T we will also maintain a counter. So let us first read the content through read lines, or read using read also you can do the same thing. Here they have utilized the read lines, no issue. Take two variables, count E and count T. So we will maintain the count of E in that variable, count of T in this variable. Next we will iterate over line. So here W in lines, what will happen, each line will be available in this W one by one. Okay, so if this is our W variable, lines will contain list of all these lines. Here each line is an element of this list, and these lines are in the form of string. Okay, so this is one line, this is second line, this is third line. So what we are actually trying to do, we are trying to iterate over or traverse the content of the file line by line. So here W will have first line available in it. Next we will compare if ch in W. So now you have a nested loop inside it, because we need to iterate over a single line itself, and then we can have a condition for E and a condition for T. Like for ch, either capital E or small e. If it is in either capital E or small e, then which count we need to increase? We need to increase the count of E. Okay, if it is not the case, if it is capital T or small t, then also we need to increment the count of T, and this will happen for each character of each line. And once one line is completed, it will go for the next line. Okay, at last we will display both count of E and count of T. Now what difference we can make here in this code? Just check maintain like data equal to file dot read. Okay, so what it is going to do, it is going to read whole content in the form of a string and put it into the data. Now we will have only one for loop. For okay, ch in data. Okay, now you are there. Now ch will have each character from this file content which is available in data, and data is in the form of string. Now you can utilize the same if condition inside that, so this code will remain same, because next what I will write, if ch in, okay, if that character is either capital E or small e, or that character is present in this string, then what I should do, E count, okay, count E plus equal to 1 increment. If it is not the case, then we will have one more if condition, ch in capital T or small t in that string. Okay, then what I can do, count, okay, count of T plus equal to 1 increment, and then we have these two statements associated with it. So what is the difference between these two codes? This code is much heavy because it is utilizing nested loop while it is using only one loop. So this code is better from this one. Okay, remember, like that, for solution of one question there are multiple ways you can solve those questions. Let us move ahead, and there you have a question: write a function amc count which should display read each character of a file story.txt and should count and display the occurrence of alphabet a or m including small or capital. So this is the same question which we have discussed previously. Let us see how they have solve this question. There is no difference in that. If you have listened previous question properly, definitely you are able to answer that question. So here this is the name of the function, and then they have opened that file. Open function will take two arguments, file name and the mode in which you are opening the file. We are not modifying any content of the file, so mode is always R. And then we have taken two variables to hold the count of a, capital A or small a, or capital M or small m. Then again read content. So after reading it, they have utilized this for loop to iterate over that data which is stored inside the R variable written by the read function in the form of string, and then they have compared. And this is the way to write the condition. Another way, previously what I have utilized x in okay, and we wrote like capital A or small a. So this is called membership operator which works on the strings. This is another way of comparing. If x of 0 is equal to, okay, x of 0 is equal to, rather than what is the need of writing x of 0? I don't think there is a need of writing x of 0. Just you can write x, because r is the r is just string, and over string if I iterate element by element, what will happen? A single character is going to come which directly can be compared with a, and the value of variable a will be incremented if these any of these two conditions will satisfy. Same way here for m. Okay, so no need to put this subscript of 0 because x is having only one character in it. Okay, because x is iterating element by element. So first time x will have u, then p, then d, then a, then t. So does not mean anything to put a subscript there. Okay, if this is not satisfied, then go for elif. If elif not satisfied, just go back to the loop, and when this loop ends, stop. Okay, and then print a or m, how many a or m are present, and how many okay, capital A or small a are present, or capital M or small m is present. So this is another way of writing the same thing. That's it for this lecture. Thank you very much for patient listening. Okay, we will come up shortly with the next part of this, where we are discussing some more question on text file handling. Definitely you will be getting benefit if you watch this video. If you want any improvement in the content, voice level, or any suggestion, please leave a comment in comment section. Do like and subscribe the channel. It helps us for me to produce good content. In Thank you very much. Have a nice day.